This country is budgeted for a long time. How I wish that that culture of budgeted corruption comes to a stop, comes to an end. We have got enough resources in this country that can take care of all our needs if only we dealt with the pilferage and wanton misuse of resources by those who are charged with the responsibility of taking care of these resources on behalf of the people of Kenya. Wastage, pilferage is one of the biggest issues that we face as a country. If you are keen enough and you happen to read any report of the Public Accounts Committee, you will notice that those state departments, those agencies, those commissions that deal with matters of project procurement are where corruption is domiciled. Corruption follows budget. Once you budget for projects and you don't deal with the matter of budgeted corruption, you will be breeding corruption. It is quite clear. Those agencies, those departments of state that have got little or no budget for capital projects, you will rarely see any case of corruption. But where there are projects to be procured, that is the home of corruption. And therefore, I will be appealing to my colleagues that let us lead by example on this front. Thank you. I support.
Let me recognize the schools first, then you go. I wish to recognize in the public gallery the following schools: Tongoya Secondary School, from Mwea constituency, Kirinyaga County; Father Khan Academy, from Chesumei constituency, Nandi County; Londiani Girls High School, from Kipkelion East constituency, Kericho County; Made in the Streets Primary School, from Kasarani constituency, Nairobi County. Welcome. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me begin by thanking the Honorable Shakir Shabir for tabling these reports and ably moving for its adoption. Honorable Speaker, as the Honorable Leader of Minority has noted, the Honorable Shakir has been leading APNAC and GOPAC for a very long time. And I want to encourage the Honorable Shakir Shabir to now enlist. In fact, I was asking him who is seconding the motion, and I had hoped that he would get one of our new members, but he told me he had asked the Honorable Bernard Kitur to second. Unfortunately, I think the Honorable Bernard Kitur was too busy elsewhere, so he was not available. But I was encouraging Honorable Shakir to enlist more of the new members into these organizations, both APNAC and GOPAC. And also to encourage, Honorable Speaker, the institutionalization of all these setups, both APNAC and GOPAC, and also the parliamentary network on the World Bank, and also the parliamentarians for global action. And Honorable Speaker, to also have bicameral representation as we institutionalize all these associations, so that being that we are in a bicameral parliament, when we attend all these international conferences, we don't do so as the National Assembly, but we attend as the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya. So that whatever resolutions that come out of all these associations, whether it's APNAC, whether it's GOPAC, whether it's a parliamentary network for global action on World Bank, we have a bicameral approach, so that if there are legislative interventions to be done, you find it much easier for the Honorable Shakir to propose any legislative proposals on matters to do with corruption and other issues if there is bicameral representation in all these organizations. And I would really want to encourage the Honorable Shakir, even as I commend him for the work, to ensure that we institutionalize all these organizations and have that bicameral approach. Honorable Speaker, if you read through the report, Honorable Speaker, you see the various recommendations that they are making, and especially on facilitating APNAC to be able to promote transparency, accountability, and good governance among us parliamentarians, both at a national level and also at our county levels or even community leaders, Honorable Speaker. And I cannot agree more with the members of this organization that we must have a very clear framework on how, as Parliament, we will promote transparency and accountability. And Honorable Speaker, it is in view of such desires that the National Assembly and the Senate, under this administration, were able to review our own standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries to appear before the House, as they will do tomorrow afternoon on Wednesdays, to come and be accountable to the people through their elected representatives. But Honorable Speaker, you notice few of us actively participate in that process. And I want to take this opportunity to encourage members, as I did on Thursday during the normal statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, to one, enlist questions that we enhance transparency in how government does its work in the ministries, and also, more importantly, to hold cabinet secretaries and those serving in the executive accountable of all their actions, and even in the implementation of the budgets that we appropriate here and we pass, but whose implementation we leave to the executive. Honorable Speaker, that being so, it must not be lost on us that we cannot just be talking about corruption. And I'm happy, Honorable Speaker, that we have an administration now that does not only speak about corruption, but acts on corruption and any incidences of corruption. And I think Kenyans will bear us witness that the President has been very resolute to speak less and act more on issues to do with corruption. And that is how to deal with corruption. In the past, Honorable Speaker, we have seen incidences where from the highest office, and I remember in 2018 or 2017, Honorable Speaker, during the State of the Nation address, where a whole 200 members of the cabinet, civil servants, were asked to step aside on suspicion of matters to do with corruption. But of all those 200 public officers that were asked to step aside, not a single officer was ever charged in court over corruption. Because we had a regime that believed in speaking about corruption and never acting on corruption. And it was no coincidence, Honorable Speaker, when you find people speaking too much about corruption, at times, they are the most corrupt people. Those who shout loudest about fighting corruption are usually the most corrupt, Honorable Speaker. And I think Kenyans would bear us witness also that indeed, from the activities of the last regime with state capture, the highest form of corruption is state capture. And I know the Honorable Karoli Omondi has a motion on establishment of a state capture commission. And I want to encourage the Honorable Karoli Omondi to aggressively pursue that motion so that we have a state capture commission that is the beginning of dealing with matters to do with corruption. Honorable Speaker, we keep talking about corruption when we see police officers collecting bribes on the roads, or county government officers walking around their estates collecting bribes. But we forget that the fish, as we say, starts rotting from the head. That is a problem in Kenya. The country started rotting from the head when we made state capture normal. We normalized state capture. And it became normal that 1 or 2 or 3 people and their families could capture the state and ensure, from public procurement to implementation of government projects to formulation of government policy, is geared towards private business interests, not the greater public good. Honorable Speaker, that is where we must begin and want to encourage the Honorable Shakir Shabir, even within GOPAC and ACPAC, to ensure, because this is not a problem that is unique to Kenya. The world over, even in the most developed countries, states are captured by those who are in power. But we have a duty and a responsibility as parliamentarians to support such organizations to ensure that we do not normalize corruption by normalizing state capture, Honorable Speaker. And that's why I said I must commend President William Ruto, because he has shown by action how you deal with corruption. You don't issue ultimatums. You don't threaten people. You don't need to bang tables. You just need to act on corruption, and the message will be sent to public officers that there is zero tolerance to corruption, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, as I encourage the Honorable Shakir Shabir and members of this caucus, Honorable Speaker, I also want to ask them to lead from the front. Right from our committees in Parliament. For many years, and Honorable Shakir has been here with me long enough to know members of Parliament serving in committees quite often are accused of rent seeking.